welcome to Flamecast. This is Todd Platz.
And Wesley Swing.
Yep, we got Wes here. No Travis. Maybe he'll show up. Maybe he won't.
I just noticed the episode number.
That's his law. Yes, 42. The answer to everything. The meaning of life.
Can we put a pin in a discussion later in the podcast about another Douglas Adams intellectual property?
Ooh, we sure can.
All right, write that down.
I'm ready. Douglas Adams. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, the big news this time is, well, I'm sure you've seen The Last Jedi.
I saw The Last Jedi at 7 a.m. in Japan.
All right.
Because we were awake.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me about that. Or maybe I saw it on one of your posts on Facebook. I can't remember what, but...
Yeah, I was kind of scared to... we saw it early because we were there for, I think, the second day after it opened. And so I was scared that it was just going to be super packed. And we went early, and Japanese people generally are not very early people. Like, everything in Japan opens at 10 a.m. And so we went to a 7:15 showing, and it was 2/3 to 3/4 full. Pretty full. So I'm glad we went that early. But it was a pretty nice screen. It was almost IMAX size, even though it was not an IMAX.
Oh, one of those fake IMAX.
Yeah, a little bit of curve. Just a really giant screen.
I know they've got a theater in Rochester, the Warenberg Theaters, that they say they have an IMAX screen, and yeah, I don't think it's an actual IMAX screen. It
sounds illegal.
I never go there, so I'm going by the word of other people. And yeah, this one guy I work with, he's like, it's like a large screen, but it's nowhere near what an IMAX screen should be.
Yeah.
Even though they have the IMAX brand on it and everything.
Right, yeah. So how many times have you seen it? I assume you've seen it more than once.
Well, you haven't been watching my Facebook posts?
No, I haven't. I'm on Facebook like once a month at best. What are you up to now? Can I guess? I'm gonna give
make a guess.
Knowing Todd, it's been 1 month, almost exactly. Exactly, right?
Pretty close.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give you 5.
Ooh, that would be wrong. Should I just go out and say?
Yeah, how many times have you seen it?
As of Thursday evening, it is now 9 times.
See, I was gonna say 7, but it's kind of a long movie. So you don't like it, is what you're saying?
Well, we can get to that a little bit later, but I just wanted to run through some of the nice parts of the movie and some of the not nice parts in the movie.
9 times. I want to see it again just to see what things hold up and what things don't. But after seeing it 9 times, I'm sure the parts that you don't like must just drive you crazy. Go to the bathroom, get a drink.
Not really. I mean, for the most part, people that bitch and complain about this thing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
One guy on Facebook had posted like 10 different plot holes in the movie. And I'm looking through and I'm like, the hell is this?
Yeah.
What's this?
This movie...
All this stuff is completely explained if they would just pay attention.
Yeah, this movie has been more abused than any movie I can think of.
Yes!
I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but...
No, and no Star Wars movie is.
Yeah. Well, and people are picking it apart in the lens of, like...
Oh, I know.
It had to live up to everything. If you take this as an individual movie, it's a really good movie. There are things we'll talk about that, they do wrong, but any movie does things wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what, you have a list of things to go through?
Yeah.
Go for it.
But I was just going to say, one of the things that person was complaining about as far as plot holes go, he's like, well, they're shooting lasers and lasers are supposed to go on forever, and I'm like,
Have you
dude,
watched a Star Wars movie?
every single sci-fi movie out there, from the beginning of time, they always have finite reach with lasers.
You know, most lasers are invisible as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't throw that in too. I mean, the guy just ticked me off so much, and actually, I had seen it like 15 minutes before I was going to leave and go see the movie again. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I just wrote on there, I'm like, dude, all this stuff can be explained, and I don't have the time to answer this crap, so yeah. I just kind of left it at that.
Okay, well, you should say for anybody listening who hasn't seen it for whatever reason that
we're spoilers.
This isn't, I will say, as far as Star Wars movies go, this is probably the least spoiler-prone movie I can think of. There really is nothing in that movie that feels all that spoilery.
Yeah, not really. I mean, there's a few things, but things that I'm glad I didn't, take a look at, spoilers ahead of time. Because I know there was one that, Corey had seen that when I saw it, it was like, oh, okay, that's a surprise. But anyways.
Go for it. If you have a set list of things.
So, yeah. I'm going to go, right down the line here. Because, okay, right away you get that beginning battle. And
you say that as if I've seen it 9 times. Remind me, what's the beginning battle?
Okay, well, they've got Poe and his X-Wing sitting there in front of the Dreadnought. And
with the bombs, yes, I got you.
Well, they haven't gotten to the bombs yet, but
sure.
When he's just kind of trying to stall, so his engines get up to maximum power, and he has that, pretending he's on hold when he's not.
Yeah.
So right away you start out with some humor in there, and I thought it was pretty funny, especially when he started talking about, Huck's the kind of pasty guy, skinny. Yeah.
I felt like it was a little bit awkward. Like they didn't play it right. It was just a little too awkward. It wasn't like the Harrison Ford level of comedy. It was more of a Family Guy level of comedy.
Yeah, I was all right with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the first things I noticed, though, when they get to the bombers, and it's like, wait, how are these bombs falling out of the ship and onto the Dreadnought?
People complain about that, but
because there's no gravity. But I mean,
Empire Strikes Back, they bombed the asteroids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's that, and there's, they could be magnetic, or they could be. I mean, you've got gravity inside the ship.
Yeah.
So if you do let go of something inside the ship, and then it hits vacuum, it's going to continue going in that direction. So it can be explained. But at the time, I was like, how would that work?
They're also on a rack too, so that rack could just be, forcing. If it's like a conveyor, then it's just going click, 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 right?
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's explainable, but that's one of the.
I know that's one
supposed
of those
plot holes.
Right.
It's like quit nitpicking.
Yeah, give me a break. There's also inertia in space. If we really want to complain about space things, there's ships can't turn on a dime.
So yeah, we get to Luke's little hideaway planet, and Rey gives Luke his lightsaber, and leads right up to the point that you see in The Force Awakens, and then you see what he does with it, and he just tosses it over his shoulder and walks away. I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But
that poor lightsaber. It's been through so much.
Yeah. You get to deal with a little bit there, and then you go back to you get to the point where Chewie barges in, and they kind of switch over to Kylo Ren talking with Snoke, and
Are you gonna retell the movie, Todd?
a little bit. But Kylo gets all pissed off and in the elevator there, and he smashes the mask, and it's like, yeah, it was kind of annoying that he'd be talking through that mask all the time. But,
yeah.
But here, Snoke himself was annoyed with it. So.
Yeah. Well, and that mask, like, I feel like he should have lost that mask at the end of Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And so he remade one and then smashed it. Like, does he just have a rack of these things? Like, is there a closet somewhere that's just full of Kylo Ren helmets?
Kind of like there was a comic strip I saw way back, Peanuts comic strip, where Charlie Brown goes and looks in his closet, and all he's got is yellow shirts with the black squiggly line.
Hey, at least that
it's
means
like,
he's not wearing.
Which one should I wear?
He's not wearing the same dirty shirt every day.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as well, I suppose they made up for it because, if they're selling merchandise, well, now he doesn't have that mask anymore. So how many masks are you going to sell?
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter too much because they could sell porgs instead.
One of my favorite things about the porgs is finding out why the porgs existed. If anybody listening doesn't know why the porgs are in the movie, you have to look that up. You know that one, right?
I'm not sure if I heard this one.
You don't know this? So the porgs existed because that island that they filmed on is covered in puffins.
Really?
And rather than edit each puffin out of the scene, it was easier to just put a digital thing over top of it. So they just covered them in porgs.
Awesome.
I can't believe we didn't know that.
That is pretty neat. Well, like I said, I tried to stay away from all the spoilers. So.
Yeah, no, I didn't learn that until well after the movie came out.
Anything I see like after the movie, it's all people bitching and complaining.
Right. No, that was a really cool thing. Like, that's a great explanation for having something in a scene.
Yeah. I especially like the part where, Chewie's going to chow down on a porg and
he already killed it. He may as well eat it.
I know. He gets guilted out of eating it. But... Yeah. Well, he had the one that... He had two of them there. One is still, like, rotating over the fire, or sitting over the fire, and then the other one he had, like,
I will say,
in
terms of Star Wars special effects, that porg that he cooked is probably the worst special effect of all time. That's worse than Grand Moff Tarkin. That perfectly cooked, like, clearly plastic porg. That's dreadful. That's my biggest complaint about the movie right there.
Oh, jeez.
No, it's not.
Well, I was gonna say that's not a lot. Then.
My biggest complaint about the movie is let's be clear. I think it's the same as everybody's biggest complaint about the movie. But if we're not there yet, I won't jump the shark.
Leia getting sucked out the window.
No.
And
Akbar being killed off screen is a little rough.
I didn't have a problem with that.
He was barely in these last two movies.
I mean, the guy that played him actually passed away. So
did he?
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of which,
maybe he filmed the scene and then he was like gone, and they couldn't.
Well, the first time you saw that scene, did you think, "Oh, this is how they got around the Carrie Fisher thing"?
No, well, I did know that she had filmed all of her stuff the summer prior to passing away. So
right, but she had already been in the movie a bit. So when that scene happened, I was automatically thinking, "Oh, this is their way of getting around Carrie Fisher's death." But clearly, it wasn't.
No, because I knew she had a larger part to play in the movie. And
right, but they easily
it was too early on in the movie yet to do something like that.
She still was barely in the movie. She's recovering on a bed most of the movie.
Yeah, partially. But I mean, it did look kind of awkward. Her using her force.
Yeah.
I want to say force pull to pull herself back into the ship, but I think that's what a lot of people have to complain about there. Just it looks kind of unnatural and.
Well, the thing is, in space, right? Anything
Yeah.
you react to is just going to be your body moving without any sort of motion or like look of motion. It's not like, what is a wind supposed to be blowing her hair?
Yeah. And, people are like, oh, she should have, her blood vessels would all blow and all this stuff. And
That's all crap. Have you ever read, like, I've seen enough sci-fi movies and enough discussions of what happens if you get, blasted into space, that your space is a terrible insulator, right? Our space station has to remove heat forcefully because you can't just have like a heat sink like you can on your computer. Space doesn't take heat away rapidly. So you're not going to freeze terribly fast. You're also not going to explode because your body has some stasis. Just like if you go into the bottom of a pool, you don't get crushed to the size of a grape, right? It takes a much bigger difference in pressure.
So it wouldn't be like Arnold in Total Recall at
That's
the end of the
probably
movie
the
when he's like,
worst.
oh.
Yeah, that's my favorite. When I talk to students about that, about atmospheres and stuff, I always reference that scene.
Yeah. Oh, that's great though.
Yeah. So I think people saying like, "Oh, her body would have done this," is total garbage. Like, what normal person knows what a body will do in vacuum?
Yeah. And you can kind of tell that she knew it was coming, so she prepared herself before she got sucked out.
Well, I really like that Kylo Ren backed down. It's funny that it didn't matter.
Yeah, one thing Corey had complained about was, Rose and Finn releasing the animals. You had to have a animal rights statement in there. That's
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? Well, he's a hardcore. Well, I wouldn't say hardcore. He's a Trump supporter. We'll leave it at that. So,
and you're still friends.
And 9 times, and I still haven't seen him yet. But I've looked for Gary Fisher every single time. I cannot see him at the casino.
He's supposed to be at the casino.
Yeah. And I've seen pictures of him, and the person holding him.
Could that be because, like, out of those 9 times you've seen it, like 7 times you've gone to the bathroom or gotten a Coke during that casino scene?
I have not gotten out of my chair any of the time. So,
that'd be my intermission every movie. That's my favorite part of the movie.
I keep looking for him and I don't see him. It's like maybe he only got in on the snapshots and not the movie overall.
That happens a lot too.
Yeah. One thing I was happy to see was that they used an actual puppet for Yoda instead of the CGI Yoda.
Yeah, no, the Yoda was really good, and I like that it was a doddering old Yoda.
Yeah, because they had found some of the original parts from him.
Oh yeah.
From Empire, and kind of made molds off of those parts. So
well, and he was ghostly, so you don't have to make that good of molds, probably.
Yeah, somewhat.
Right. It doesn't have to hold up to like close-ups on film.
Yeah. And of course, I got Frank Oz to voice him again. So
yeah.
Like, that was the one thing that Corey had seen as a spoiler, and I hadn't. So
that Yoda was in it?
Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised Yoda showed up.
It's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. What else are they doing with their lives? Like, where's Obi-Wan?
Yeah, someone asked that too, and it's like, okay, you want another CGI character in the same, uh, concept as Governor Tarkin.
Again, it
And
might be better
Carrie
just because
Fisher.
he's ghostly, right? He's not going to look as bad as a real live, or supposed to be real live Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but then again, do you want to be reminded of what he looks like when it sounds like they're gonna make an Obi-Wan movie with Ewan McGregor?
I was going to ask, how angry would people have been if they had an Obi-Wan and it was Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, that would piss people off.
Yeah, I mean, the replacement of Anakin was stupid to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, a little later on, you get Ben and Rey fighting Snoke's guards after he gets sliced in two.
That scene is fantastic.
Yeah.
Although I will say that the whole mind reading, I know what you're going to do scene totally reminds me of Scott Pilgrim. I can't remember if you've seen Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, I have not seen that.
There's a really, it's so hard to explain, I'll sound like an idiot explaining it, but there's one character who has superpowers because he's a vegan. And, being vegan gives you superpowers and makes you better than other people.
Okay.
And Scott Pilgrim tries to trick him into drinking coffee with milk in it. And the vegan guy's like, I can read your mind. I know that you put put milk in that one and put soy milk in the other one. And he drinks the one, and Scott Pilgrim's like, well, I thought really hard about putting soy milk in that one. And so that scene in the movie where Snoke's like, I can read your mind. I know exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Just reminds me that he's just messing with him.
Yep.
That brings up the other big issue that people have with the movie that I do kind of agree with, that Rian Johnson just kind of said up yours to all of the speculators and fans and said Snoke doesn't matter at all.
Well, yeah, all these people wanted a backstory for him and such.
Right.
And it's like, okay, did the Emperor get a backstory?
Exactly, and that was my argument too. Like, the Emperor was just a dude who controlled everything and then just died.
They didn't give him a backstory until 20-something years later when Episode 1 came out.
And nobody likes the backstory.
Yeah. So, yeah. You get Vice Admiral Holdo taking the ship in the light speed into the First Order ships.
Hodor.
And I had seen this one too after the movie. Someone had posted a sheet of paper that someone had put on the movie theater doors at some theater somewhere, having to explain that, at this point in the movie there's no sound, so don't worry, it's still working right. I'm like, seriously? How stupid are people?
For which part of the movie?
Yeah, when the ship goes into hyperspace, the cruiser into, Snoke ship and
is there fractures no sound?
There's no sound at that point until they do like a faraway shot, and then you hear this big boom.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I didn't even
First of
notice.
all, if it was totally realistic, you wouldn't hear anything in space. So there.
I always tell people, like, this whole hearing things in space, yes, if you are standing outside the spaceship, you're not going to hear anything. But if you're flying by an explosion in space, you're going to hear stuff, because it's going to be rattling your spaceship and rattling the air in your spaceship.
That's true. That's true.
So you'll be hearing what your spaceship and what your body is doing.
Yeah. But I saw that one. I'm like, my gosh, people are stupid.
Yeah.
And I did like that they started referring to themselves as not just the Resistance, but they are calling themselves rebels.
Yeah. So. I don't know that I noticed that.
Well, Finn himself called himself rebel scum right after he goes and knocks down Phasma when they were fighting.
You mean the 12 seconds that they were fighting? Phasma's total screen time, like a minute and a half.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's not a major character, so...
The problem with her scenes is they blow her up. They blow Phasma up to be this, like, super amazing character, and then she has, like, 12 seconds of a scene. So I think it's just kind of like a disconnect between the cinematographer and the writer.
Yeah, maybe. But it's like, how much screen time did Boba Fett have in the original trilogy?
I feel like they're just
Not a
trying
whole
to
lot.
they're trying to intentionally recreate a Boba Fett, and I don't know that it works very well.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling a little bit too.
And the funny thing is, them trying to intentionally create a Boba Fett and Phasma means they accidentally, without even trying, kind of created a Boba Fett in the Force Awakens with that what do they call that guy? You know, the shock trooper guy. That guy got tons of attention and was like such a cult favorite for his very short moment in the movie.
Yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, I thought it was one of the best scenes in there was Luke telling R2 on the Falcon that, nope, you're not gonna get me to go back, and R2 goes and throws out Leia's message, from the original
That's a
movie.
dirty trick.
Yeah, I like that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good way to not have to CG a character back in.
Yeah, I noticed that he left out part of the message though.
It was it was
the
definitely
full
shorter.
message.
It was a shorter version of the message.
Yeah. And then there was more of a distortion in it, like, this is a file that's like 50 years old or
He's
whatever.
getting corrupted.
Yeah, the file's a little rusty there. So.
That's funny.
But yeah, later on, well, of course, Admiral Holdo is now gone, and Leia's going to be gone, so I don't know who's going to be the Resistance leader.
It better not be Poe. He's shown himself in that movie to be pretty crappy at it.
Yeah. I just saw a thing on, I think it was the Nerdist.
About Poe being the villain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, he's responsible for more deaths than anyone in that movie.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
One of the things that a lot of the morons that have been complaining about the movie hated about the movie, I really liked. I love him getting shot down for his mansplaining.
Yeah.
Like the very first time he tries to mansplain to Holdo, she's like, listen, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they're like, all this would have been avoided if she would have just told him. It's like, why should she tell him? He's a frickin' captain. She's an admiral.
Right.
You don't tell all your staff your secret plans. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no reason that she should have told him. And she never did. And I'm like, good. And stupid people.
It was still a dumb plan. Her plan was dumb too.
I mean, there wasn't really much they could do to save that cruiser.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of okay with
that.
Everything.
One of the big complaints that people have is that slow chase in general.
Yeah. They're like, oh, why didn't they just go into light speed a little further and catch up to them? And
yeah.
So I'm like, I don't think they can make short jumps like that.
The other thing that they could have done, the Empire, is they have small fighters with hyperdrive. They could have done the exact same thing, hyperdriving through the cruiser that the Rebels did.
Yeah. But on the other hand, they knew that the resistant ships were nearly out of fuel.
Right.
So they're like, really, all we have to do is wait this out, and we're just going to pick them off, and we'll be good. We don't have to give any extra effort to do it. So
It was kind of a bit of an OJ moment that you're watching this
Okay,
slow speed chase.
I'd heard someone talk about this before, and I can't remember where I heard it, but it really makes sense. I think part of it was Snoke's plan to have it extend out like that, because really he wanted to get.
He just wanted Rey back there.
He wanted Luke back there.
Yeah.
To take care of him,
right.
and well, in the process of doing that, yeah, he gets Rey back into his ship and tortures her to think, okay, Skywalker's going to come and save her, but he never does, and then he goes and shows her, oh look, all your little transports are being blown up, and to get her ticked off some more, and kind of torment her some more. And
yeah, that scene was very reminiscent of the Return of the Jedi scene.
Yeah. So I think it was all kind of by design of Snoke that things got drawn out the way that it did.
Yeah, possibly.
So something to think about there. But yeah, especially after watching it 9 times, I really don't have too much to complain about with this movie.
My biggest
the only thing.
Go ahead.
Okay. The only thing I had was the Leia scene, or force pulling herself back into the ship. It did look unnatural and seemed kind of weird, and
yeah.
But otherwise, I'm totally good with all this.
But have you ever, the weirdness on that is the same as watching video footage of the astronauts in the space station, right?
Yeah.
Like you watch somebody fly through a tunnel and no part of their body is moving.
Yeah.
It looks unnatural and weird. So I think they did the correct thing, even though it may not have looked as good. Maybe it would have looked better if they had more debris around her that she was bouncing off of as she was going through.
I mean, they did have quite a bit of debris that she was pulling herself through, but the debris wasn't. She must have been far enough from the debris that it wasn't hitting her.
Right.
But
that might have helped.
On the other hand, well, even if she was using a force bubble, it would have kind of bounced off that bubble. So yeah.
Yeah, my biggest complaint, as most people's, is the casino bit, the whole storyline. It amounts to nothing, and I think for one, it's not terribly interesting, right? They go there, they think they see a guy, they see a different guy, whatever. That's it. And the problem is that it feels like a big part of the movie set up just to set up, the little bit at the end with the kid and the kid using the Force. It feels like the directors or somebody was like, we want to set up these, potential resistance building in these kids and maybe, small Force users here and there. So how do we build how do we build that up into the story?
Well, I think it's a character builder for. I'm pretty sure we're going to see DJ, that hacker person.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see him back.
So, in a way, it kind of reminds me of the whole Bespin and Lando type scenario.
But that had meaning to it. That was to set up the confrontation that, with Luke and Vader and with Han and Boba Fett and all that. But
well, they wouldn't have known to fire at all these transports leaving the main cruiser had it not been for DJ. So
yeah, but that's that could have been anybody. That could have been anything. The fact that he came in is, yeah. And somebody said, how would he have known that? I think I've seen other complaints that there's no way that they would have known that coming back.
Oh, yes, because when they were flying back, Finn and Poe had a conversation over their communicators saying that, Finn, hurry up, because Holo's gonna launch all these transports.
Yeah.
Or evacuate the ship on all these transports. And they do it right when he says that. They show DJ sitting in a seat, kind of listening in on it. It's like, it's right there, people.
And the other part too totally reminds me of Boss Nass. Like the vocal tick that DJ has is just unnecessary and annoying.
See, I just saw in this past week there's an interview with Del Toro there, and he was saying that because he was so smart as a hacker type person, he wanted to give him some kind of detriment.
Because of course all smart people have ticks, right?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
That was his idea, and Ryan Johnson was like,
Shocker.
"Oh, go for it."
Shocker.
So
it just reminds me of Boss Nass, which is also awful. Rarely I can't think of any case where there's a character that has an annoying tick like that that's actually a positive thing for the movie.
Yeah. It was kind of funny when the interviewer brought it up. He's like, "Well, I take the blame for that," and he starts going into his explanation. The interviewer's like, "No, I'm not saying this is a bad thing or
He's
anything."
defensive immediately.
He's like, "Yeah," he was immediately defensive about it, saying that,
yeah,
"Oh, my fault," kind of thing. It's like, chill out.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was gonna comment on that whole storyline? Like, I think part of that whole storyline was to set up some sort of maybe unrequited romance with Rose and Finn, obviously, to give them more time together. I think there are better things they could have done. It also, that set up what I thought was one of the worst decisions in the movie too, was Rose stopping Finn.
Yeah.
Like, Finn driving into that would have just been perfect. It would have been perfect for his character, even though obviously they want to continue his character in the next movie. That would have just been such a great scene, and it was just ruined, and not in really a great way, in my opinion.
Yeah, and someone had pointed out the hypocrisy of it. Yeah, okay, so you've got Admiral Holdo that's taken the ship into Lightspeed and sacrificing herself.
Yeah.
But then, Finn can't do the same. So, so yeah, it's a little iffy there.
Otherwise, like, I've been complaining about a lot of things. I generally really liked the movie. I loved the visual, the cinematography throughout the movie is good, but the cinematography on that last planet with the salt and the red crystals is amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice it at the time, but people pointed out that Luke doesn't leave footprints in that, which is great.
Exactly. He's swiping his foot across the plane, and there's like no mark there.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't notice it, but yeah, that's great.
Well, one of the first things I noticed was, when did he give himself a little trim and a haircut?
Yeah. I thought maybe
like,
he was just
something's a little odd here. And then when he breaks out the lightsaber, it's like, why does he have this blue lightsaber? That's not right. I'm like, this isn't really him there. That's what gave it away for me, was the lightsaber.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that closely. You're a nerd, Todd.
Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, overall. I'm going one more time because I wanted to make it double digits. So.
Oh, jeez.
At some point, I'll get to the theater again.
I need to see it again. I don't know if I'll end up having time to see it in the theater again, but...
Yeah. Although I did end up finding time to go to one other movie.
Just one?
Just one.
Can I predict that it must be Jumanji?
That is correct.
No, I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, Sean was home for the weekend of Christmas and the weekend of New Year's, but in between he had to go back to work up in Fargo. So he wasn't too happy about that, but I think it was Christmas weekend, and yeah, we went to that. I took the kids with, and some of Wade's kids went as well. And yeah, it was enjoyable. It felt like it felt like a movie, like a kids movie, in the realm of kind of like Goonies, Super 8, that kind of
Yeah.
story, except it's adults, but the adults are kids. So I don't know if you've seen the trailers.
I know the general concept of it, and I know
Yeah.
people have said Jumanji probably wins the "Oh my God, it's not as bad as I thought" movie award of the year.
Yeah, because as they were showing more trailer, like first trailer, I'm like, it's got potential, and then as I saw more, it's like, I'm gonna go to this one, give it a chance, and I'm kind of glad I did.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I think for me, a lot of it was just my holiday travel. I just didn't see that many movies over the holiday season.
But I gotta admit, up until I think it was the day before we went to see the movie, I had not seen the original.
Oh, really?
We've got it on DVD now, but yeah, we had it on VHS, and of course I'm trying to replace all my VHS with DVDs or whatever. And so I had picked up the DVD, I'd say about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, if I'm going to the second one, I should really find out what the first one's about. So
Yeah.
I saw that, and I'm like, okay. And then, yeah, the second movie, direct sequel. It's not a reboot or anything like that. It's a sequel in the definition of what a sequel consists of.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of glad to see. So I'm like, how are they going to tie this in to the way that the original Jumanji board was like?
Right.
Yeah,
nobody cares about board games now.
Exactly.
It's funny that when Jumanji came out, I mean, board games were not all that popular. Just, general, everybody knows what board games are, but now board games are super popular.
Yeah.
And they made it a movie about a video game.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one to go out and see if you haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I can't remember, had we talked about Thor last time? I think that's the only other movie that
I'm not sure if we have. I know I talked about it at some point. It might have been of Travels.
Yeah. No, that was very good too. I like the comedy. I like Taika Waititi, so that was an easy sell for me.
Yep, Thor was a good one to go see. Which maybe this might be on your list, but let's go to our top 3 movies of the year. In no particular order. I won't make you rank them.
Yeah, I was telling you.
Because I don't know if I can rank them myself.
But... Yeah, I was telling you before that I'd have a tough time ranking my movies.
Well, so we'll just alternate. So I'll let you go first. You can name one of them.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, unlike your movie, or your list probably, I don't have all that much in the way of sci-fi, superhero type things on here. So I'm going to start my list with a superhero movie, the only superhero movie on my list that was probably in my top 3, Logan.
Oh. Okay, I gotta admit, it's on my list too.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Logan was just a really good movie. It wasn't a good superhero movie. It was just generally a good movie.
Yeah,
a little hyper-violent, being the only detriment in my opinion.
Yeah, but that was kind of neat to see.
So that's it. I've stolen your thunder by...
What was even... another nice point about that, though, was seeing Professor X swear.
Yeah. Yeah, Patrick Stewart's been waiting for that for a long time.
Yeah, and actually, I had just picked up the Blu-ray for that this past week.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it, but they do have a black and white version on there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, when I finally watch this for the second time, am I going to watch the black and white, or should I go with the color? I might just go black and white.
I will say that my only complaint about Logan, as is my complaint about a lot of what I think are really good, like, dramatic movies, I'm not rushing to see it again. Like, I don't know if I could watch it again for a while. Kind of in
Yeah.
the same, like, Beautiful Mind, Schindler's List, sort of category.
Yeah. Schindler's List.
Logan is the Schindler's List of superhero movies. Let's be clear.
Yeah. I remember going to the theater and watching Schindler's List.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was like, the movie ends, people are coming out of the theater, and it was like no one said a word.
Right.
Everyone was just so somber, and I had realized it at the time. I'm like, my God, this is the quietest it's ever been getting out of a movie theater for me.
Yeah.
So of course I had to kind of make fun of the moment, and I'm like, hey guys, let's go bowling. Yeah.
Oh God.
They kind of gave me weird looks, but
yeah. I speaking of which, a little sidetrack. I was in Japan over the holidays and went to Hiroshima to go to the Peace Museum, basically the atomic bomb museum, and that was similar experience. Everybody in the museum is just kind of zombie walking through the museum. I thought I was going to be bawling my eyes out the whole time, so I had tissues at hand, but it was set up, the museum's set up in a way, I think, to help you through it and make you more of a zombie than a bawling wreck.
I was really tempted. I didn't do it though, but I was really tempted to ask you on Facebook after you brought out the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you find the bunker that Logan dove down?
God. I think that would have been factually incorrect though, because if I remember, it was probably the other bomb. I think it was the Nagasaki bomb.
Oh yeah, that could be.
I may be misremembering.
I can't remember now. I've got the movie.
That's a smaller bomb, so that would be the easier one to survive.
Yeah.
I'm looking that up.
Okay, right, so you get Logan.
Logan, which I spoiled for you.
I had Logan as well, so I'll let you go with number 2. Go ahead, give us your second.
My second one, I'll stick with a sci-fi theme. No, maybe not. I have a list of 6 movies here, so I'll mention the other ones later. But my next best movie is probably Big Sick. The Big Sick. So that's Kumail Nanjiani's movie. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not. Actually, I don't know if I've heard of it.
It's a movie about his real life, basically. He wrote a movie about him and his wife. When they were dating, she came down with some terrible sickness, and they weren't... It's awkward because they were like kind of dating and kind of broken up when she went into this medically induced coma. And so he's trying to take care of her and like work with her family, even though she's broken up with him. And it's just a really good movie. And it's a mixed race couple, and it doesn't do the like awkward, racist family moments of every mixed race couple movie. And it's really good.
Heck, even Get Out had that. I mean, the whole movie is kind of based on that.
Well, so that one probably won't. That's one of the 6 on my list here, Get Out. I don't know that would make my top 3, but it's definitely in my top 5 or 6.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
But all right. I don't think it's a comedy.
Get Out?
Yeah. I mean, there's comedic moments, but I wouldn't categorize it as a comedy.
Yeah.
Was it that movie that they were trying to get past as a comedy?
The marketing
or one
for
of the
Get
awards
Out
shows?
Oh, I don't know. But the marketing for Get Out was a little weird. I think Get Out was successful because of people, not because of marketing. That was very much a word of mouth sort of movie.
Okay. Well, my one, and again, no particular order here, but I was well, I had to go and watch the miniseries first because I hadn't done that ever, but I did go and see it.
Oh, I have it like on my queue, but I haven't watched it yet. So that makes your top 3.
That makes my top 3. It was very enjoyable.
Wow.
I mean, especially after watching the first one and seeing, how they improved on the story.
Right.
And of course, it's going to be a 2-parter, so you got the second part coming in a couple of years.
I was going to say, like, this one has the advantage of being the more popular part of the 2-parter, right? So I think most people who watch the miniseries like the kid part and don't really like the adult part.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm kind of hesitant because I know what's coming.
Right.
Because the effects that they did on the miniseries for the end of the adult part was like really pathetic. But
oh yeah, that's a classic bad. That's why you don't show the monster.
Yeah, but yeah, again, one of those kids movies, same kind of feel like Stranger Things.
Movies,
yeah, Stranger Things is very similar.
Were you the one that I had to talk into watching Stranger Things? I can't recall.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Stranger Things. Yeah, that could
Maybe.
be.
I don't know. I just remember binging it.
Yeah, everybody did.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people that watch Stranger Things in more than 2 sittings.
Yeah.
All right. So, last movie, not first place movie for me, but maybe the first place movie for me. Okay. And this one is kind of a surprising one, and I'm still not sure that I would put it at first place. It's surprising because it's a sequel to a movie that I don't really like that much. Do you know what that would be?
You're not thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
No, because that's the opposite. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I did not like the sequel very much. It is a long-running franchise, or a long-delayed sequel. Does that help?
Long-delayed sequel. Oh my gosh.
A 30-year or so later sequel.
I'm probably going to hit myself for not knowing this.
It's Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of Blade Runner, the original movie. I love Harrison Ford. Blade Runner is an overrated movie. It's generally a boring, not very well-made movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a hard sit-through when I finally did watch it.
It's not easy to watch. Blade Runner 2049 was really good. Like, the cinematography is out of this world. I don't know if it did it win for anything for cinematography at the Golden Globes. Did they do cinematography at the Golden Globes? I can't even remember.
I haven't even seen who won anything at Golden Globes.
I haven't paid attention. Anyway, the cinematography is amazing. The colors, the lighting, the scenes are unbelievable. The plot has some issues, but it moves much more than the original. It's also not as dark the whole time. One of my big complaints about Blade Runner is it's like watching a movie that somebody forgot to turn the lights on.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's no dynamic. Everything is the same color. And so this one has a lot of color, a lot of beautiful scenery. It has a lot of really cool, thoughtful questions. I presume you didn't see it.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it. Okay.
Yep. When I was out in Michigan, it was during the week, and I was staying at Matt's house, and I was thinking, while we're out here, maybe go to a movie, go to Blade Runner, and then he brought it up one evening. I think it was like Thursday evening that I was out there, and we ended up having supper first, and then went to the movie. By the time we got to the movie, it was like what,
Oh, I remember you
nine
telling me.
9:30 showing.
Yeah, that is not a short movie.
Yeah, so it was like 1 o'clock by the time we got back. I was having a hard time staying awake because
Yeah.
yeah, I have to wake up early in the morning all the time. So, but um, I know there was a couple of there was one part where oh shoot, where someone maybe kills someone else, and it's kind of like a jumpy moment,
Uh-huh.
and I realized at that point that I had maybe shut my eyes for like a second because that happened, and my God, I just about jumped out of my chair. I'm like, I'm awake.
Jumping, jerking awake sort of thing. Yeah, I really liked it. I need to watch it again. I want to watch it again with Mariah, but Mariah either hasn't seen Blade Runner or hasn't seen it in such a long time that she needs to watch it again first before we
Okay.
do it. And I refuse to watch it again with her.
Well, that makes it a little difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that movie also, the worst part of the movie is the same worst part of the movie as Rogue One for me. A crappy CG of an old actor or actress in that case.
Well,
Just, stop doing that until you do it better, because
although they can kind of get away with it in that movie because she wasn't actually the same.
yeah, but
Know.
she wasn't that close anyway. But her voice was totally different because they let whatever that actress is speak for her, and Sean Young has a very distinctive voice. You can't just phone it in with Sean Young voice.
Yeah.
I would propose that half the reason Sean Young got as famous as she did is because of her voice.
All right then.
Kind of like the Kathleen Turner thing. Would Kathleen Turner have been as popular if she didn't have that voice?
Yeah.
All
right.
Your number one is...
Well, not necessarily my number one.
You're not number one.
Somewhere in the top three.
Already been mentioned.
It's a sequel. And it is Transformers Last Night.
What?
And I'm totally kidding. No, actually, this was not a sequel.
Oh, really? I thought it might have been Thor, the last one on your list.
Thor was good. It's in at least the top 10.
Yeah.
But it's up there. I was also thinking Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but yeah. I mean, after a couple of viewings, I'm like, yeah, it was okay, but
yeah, I didn't like it much the first time, and I loved the first one.
But I also had. I was also thinking Spider-Man: Homecoming. That was a good movie.
It's okay.
War for the Planet of the Apes.
It's
pretty good. Okay. But I ended up choosing Wonder Woman.
See, I totally disagree.
I mean, I had just received the Blu-ray for this a couple of weeks ago, so I rewatched it again. I'm like, this does hold up very well.
Does David Thewlis get worse each time?
Nah, not for me. And I couldn't find too many faults with it myself, but I'm sure other people can. But
we've already talked about this movie. My impression is just that it's a fine movie. It was certainly in the top 10 or 15 movies I saw this year, but I probably saw 10 or 15 movies this year. In theater, I mean.
Maybe people were thinking I was going to choose The Last Jedi, but no.
Yeah, I think that might be in my top 5 or 7, but
I would say that just misses the list for me.
In top 3?
Yeah.
I might put it at 5.
4 or 5.
I have a couple other movies on my list. Lady Bird another indie movie.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good. Probably a lot better if you're female. And that's not saying it's a chick flick, but it's a movie about like the experience of a teenage girl interacting with her mom, her overbearing mom. And so I think there's just a lot more familiarity.
Okay.
The friend I went with is female, and so the whole movie she was like, "Oh my God, that's me." And the other one, who I'd like to think is me, is Baby Driver.
Oh, okay.
Did you see Baby Driver?
I did not. Oh.
It's a street race, well, not street racing, getaway car, driving car, sort of a car fanatic type of movie. Edgar Wright, who, I think most people like Edgar Wright well enough.
Okay.
Very good. Oh, it's got Kevin Spacey in it, so it's probably doing really well on video now.
Yeah, Kevin.
But it's a good movie. I did enjoy it, and it actually has one of the best, actually not one of the best, the best ever synchronization of a soundtrack with the events on the movie, because the car chases are synchronized with the soundtrack, and it's just unbelievable. So
all right,
that's worth a watch.
Yeah, I think most of the other ones I kind of mentioned as possibles, but
yeah,
although,
it was a pretty good movie here. I didn't
I did
Batman
go
versus Superman on your list.
Well, that was the year before.
Oh, was it?
You're thinking Justice League.
Oh, Justice League. That's right.
Yeah. And Justice League kind of ticks me off. Not for, I mean, it wasn't the greatest movie, but the merchandise for Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right away they had 6-inch figures, which I'm trying to get all these figures. Well, I'd say most of them for figures in action.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I've got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. They had Flash and Cyborg. Okay. Christmas comes and goes. You cannot find a Flash or Cyborg anywhere.
Did they just make far fewer of them?
I think so. And if you do see them anywhere, yeah, they're online and they're going for like 25, 30, 40 bucks.
That's cute.
When retail price was $9.99. I'm like, seriously?
A bit of a sidetrack, but speaking of which, have you watched The Toys That Made Us?
It's on my list of things to watch.
Yeah.
I've got to go through those. But yeah.
The Star Wars episode is very good.
Yes, I've heard.
The G.I. Joe episode, not very good.
Oh.
Just all the people that made G.I. Joes are generally like not very interesting people. The He-Man episode, also very good. The people that made the He-Man, as you might imagine by looking at the He-Man characters, are just nut jobs.
I've heard there's interesting things in the Barbie one as well.
Yeah, the Barbie one is pretty good, but the Barbie one, there's a lot more like infighting and that sort of stuff, like the intrigue of people trying to screw each other over and stuff like that. But I'm really looking forward to the second half of the season. The Transformers episode, I can't wait to watch.
Oh.
And there's a Lego episode as well.
Oh, yeah, I'd be interested in that one.
But there's a lot of Star Trek discussion in the Star Wars one, but I think there also in the second half of the season is a specifically Star Trek episode as well.
I will have to keep that in mind.
But yeah, I highly recommend that show. It does the amazing thing that you realize about halfway through one episode that your body is expecting every time they go to an interview for it to be some like lame celebrity from like a reality show giving their insight on a figure that they loved growing up. And when they don't do that, it's just such a like feeling of relief. Like they're interviewing people who actually matter.
Yeah.
It's not that VH1.
Right, like behind the music.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
So it's really good. It's really well done. They made that conscious decision to interview the people who actually did the thing, and that just makes it great.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've gone through our top 3 movies of last year. How about the most anticipated movie for this year?
I have the list in front of me of like things that are coming. I don't know that I could pick one single thing, but there are some good ones on here.
I can pick one single
I can
thing.
pick my one single most anticipated movie. It's not the one that I expect to be the best movie. I'm very scared about it.
Okay.
Yours is probably Avengers, right?
Yeah, how would you guess?
Yeah. I mean, I am excited about that because I am excited to see everything come together.
Yep.
The one frustration I've had with Avengers, with the Marvel movies, is that every movie is trying to like piggyback off of another one and link with another one or two or whatever. It'll be nice to just see them finally be like, okay, here's everything.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what Thanos does, even though I'm a little worried about the CG.
Yeah, I guess I'm not too worried about the CGI.
The movie that I'm most looking forward to is Ready Player One.
Oh, yes.
The movie that I'm most worried about is Ready Player One.
Well, I can see I can say that I've seen the trailer for it like a lot of times because it's played in front of The Last Jedi every single time I've watched it.
I can't believe you watch the previews every time.
Well, yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do there?
I'm tentatively interested in just looking at the list of movies here. Actually, maybe tied with Ready Player One for most excited about, most worried about is The Incredibles 2.
Yep.
And then Annihilation, I've talked about on here before. That's that sci-fi movie with Natalie Portman that I think has been delayed, so I'm a little worried that maybe there are problems with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal all your thunder here. Deadpool 2, potentially interesting.
Yeah, Deadpool 2.
Jurassic World 2, like, did you enjoy Jurassic World?
It was all right.
Did you think it was a good movie?
It was all right.
I think it's not a good movie, but I enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
Jurassic World 2, I'm tempted. What else do we have? Black Panther. I just can't muster any sort of excitement for Aquaman, Ant-Man, Black Panther, Venom. Oh my god. Oh. Isle of Dogs.
Yeah.
Do you know Isle of Dogs?
Oh, no, I don't.
That's the new Wes Anderson movie.
Okay.
And it's an animation movie. It looks similar style to the Fox movie. What is the name of that movie? Fantastic Mr. Fox? That he did a while ago. Do you like Wes Anderson movies?
I can't say one way or the other, really.
I'm hit or miss, so I love Life Aquatic, and I hate Rushmore and some of those. So anyway, I'm intrigued by it. Yeah. Any other movies I'm forgetting?
One that I'm optimistic about, but everyone else seems to be shitting on it already. Oh, shoot. Damn it! I'll get into the reason why I'm scolding myself later, but
okay. What is that?
Han Solo movie.
Oh yeah, God knows.
Solo.
God knows.
I'm expecting it to be good, but yeah, everyone else just.
Well,
But it's those same people that are bashing The Last Jedi, really. So.
Right. The one thing that I have over the vast majority of those people that are crapping on the potential for the Han Solo movie is I have actually seen that actor in a movie before, because I guarantee most of those people have not watched Hail Caesar.
Oh, hold on. Give me a sec.
Go for it.
Okay, back.
All right. Hail Caesar. I presume you haven't seen it either.
Nope, I have not.
Hail Caesar, that actor, that's his sort of big out movie. He plays kind of a rednecky country Western movie actor. And he's not particularly great, so I'm a little worried at his potential for acting in this movie.
All right.
That's all I can say. If you have no more 2018 movies to mention, I was just reminded, did you have a worst movie of 2017 or most disappointing movie or anything like that?
Yeah, most disappointing, I gotta say Justice League.
Yeah.
I really wanted that to be good, but...
Mariah and I just watched what may not be the most disappointing, because nobody thought it looked good, but the worst movie. We watched Valerian.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, man, that is so bad.
I was thinking about going to see it when it was out, and I'm like, yeah, I just don't know.
It is worse than Jupiter Ascending.
I never did see that one either.
It's so bad. The main actors, both of them, but the main actor in particular in Valerian is just terrible. Like Paul Walker, early Keanu Reeves level of bad. And like early Keanu Reeves, he does this like breathy voice that is clearly not his real voice, and you just want him to talk in his normal voice because he sounds like an idiot.
All right, then.
And they make him out at the beginning of the movie to be this like well-seasoned, space cop, whatever, secret agent guy, and he looks like he's about 12. And how are you supposed to build character and seasoning into this guy that looks so young?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm glad I didn't spend the money on it.
Oh man, it is so bad.
Well, here's one movie you will like. It's the fan film of the month. But again, this is on YouTube. At least I think it is. Yes, it is. Go and do a search for Salt Liquor. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It's only 33 seconds long, but it's these two kids, and they're recreating the scene where they're in the trenches on
salt licking.
On Crate. Yeah, and the one guy walks out, and the guy still in the trench goes and takes a piece of the salt and licks it, and he's like, salt. And yeah, I won't spoil it for you, but it's pretty funny.
All right, I will not watch it right now for fear of audio contamination.
Otherwise, it's probably time for a Star Wars Kenner commercial.
From Kenner's Star Wars collection comes the Stormtrooper, the Sand People, and all 20 action figures, including new Hammerhead, Snaggletooth, and more, each sold separately. And now, Boba Fett, Star Wars villain with his laser rifle. Boba Fett is not yet available in stores, but you can get him free with 4 proofs of purchase from any Star Wars action figures. Details on specially marked packs at participating stores. Offer ends May 31st. Star Wars action figures sold separately from Kenner.
And there you go. There's your Kenner commercial.
Well, yeah, and after watching that, you should go watch The Toys That Made Us.
That's right. You should. Speaking of watching stuff, and I don't think you got in on this, but after the last podcast with Travis, well, we had talked during the podcast about, okay, I've got Movie Pass now, so I'm paying $10 a month to go to as many movies as I want.
As do I.
And, which it's been so nice.
Yeah.
It's like, what a deal, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, you've been abusing it too. Good job.
Yeah. Well, I plan to abuse it some more, but because I can go to so many movies, I'm like, okay, people in the comment section, let me know which movie you want me to go see, and I'll go see it. And
oh man,
I'll
we're gonna make you watch some bad movies.
Yeah, people started throwing out things like, of course, that 50 Shades movie that's coming up, and I'm like, that was Travis. That's frickin' Travis that suggested that. Like, seriously? Someone else had suggested Pitch Perfect 3.
Oh, see, that's probably not that bad. Pitch Perfect, the first one, is a good movie.
Well, I haven't seen the other ones, but yeah, I was in Rochester with my girls, Shelby and Savannah, about a week or 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, well, as long as we're here, we can go to a movie. We're driving right by the theater. Shelby's like, which movie?
And I'm sure they've seen the first two.
I'm not sure if they've seen the second, but I know they've seen the first one.
Right.
And so I had kind of suggested, Pitch Perfect 3. So at least I'm not going by myself to this movie.
That's true.
And Shelby right away, she's like, no way, there's no way I'm going to see that movie. I've heard it's terrible. And I thought the first one is kind of dumb, but this one's even worse, I've heard.
It's supposed to be terrible.
Oh, God, really? But, I mean,
if I made you watch The Greatest Showman, that looks terrible. Oh, wow, it has decent ratings.
Well, you know what? For the next month, actually over a month. Okay, Rachel just had foot surgery like a week ago, and it's a right foot. It's in a cast. She's not able to drive for these 6 weeks. Hence, I have to drive her to work and pick her up after work. And I'm like, I will not be able to go to a movie during the week at all during this time frame because she's not going to go to any of these movies.
Right.
So I'm like, I just don't see how I can accomplish this. So for all the people who made your suggestions, I mean, if it's a movie that I kind of planned on going anyways, I would probably find a way to make it happen. Probably like over a weekend, but these movies that are just like cringeworthy, I'm telling you, I probably won't get to them because I'm not going to take like the 2 hours of my weekend to watch a shitty movie.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it, there I go again.
How much money are you costing yourself?
What's that?
I said, how much money are you costing yourself with those swears?
Yeah, I'm not costing myself anything, but the last thing I was going to talk about was New Year's resolutions.
Which you failed at, clearly.
I failed like 2-3 times already.
I generally do actually try to follow resolutions.
I'll try better next time.
I think that's the most followed New Year's resolution is try harder next time.
Yeah.
I gave myself softball resolutions this year, which is one of them was listen to more music, and part of that is because I used to listen to a lot of music when I worked, and now I've been doing a lot more of like having a YouTube video on while I work, and they're mostly videos that are not that distracting, but they are a little bit distracting.
Yeah, that can be.
And then the other one is to build more things.
Okay.
So, fairly easy type of things.
Yeah.
Aside from swearing, what is your other one?
No, that was it.
What is it? Well, you're failing at your one thing.
I know. And it wasn't going to be like, like overall. It was just going to be during podcasts. And I can't even do that. Like I said, I'll try harder next time.
Well, before we get too close to wrapping up, we have to go back to my stick a pin in it.
Yes.
Douglas Adams.
Douglas
have
Adams.
you watched any of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency?
No.
You must watch it. Although it's on Hulu, it is on FX as well. So if you have cable, you might be able to video on demand some of it.
Okay.
But it's definitely worth watching. So it's based on a Douglas Adams novel. about a moderately crappy detective doing like science fiction, fantasy-ish detective cases. And I don't know about I haven't actually read the books. I've read all of the rest of Douglas Adams stuff, but not those, because I'm not a big detective story guy.
Yeah.
But the TV show, at least, is sort of told much like Sherlock Holmes from the perspective of Watson. It's told from the perspective of Todd, who is Elijah Wood. And so if that's not enough endorsement, a TV show with Elijah Wood, then
all right.
I don't know what's wrong with you, because it's Elijah Wood, and he's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, but Elijah Wood's very good. The rest of the cast is also very good. 2 seasons have gone through. The cases are just ridiculous and fun. The second season, when you start watching it, you're questioning whether you're even watching the right TV show.
Huh.
So it's one of those things, if you like recorded it and you watched your DVR, you'd be like, ah, crap, it screwed up and it recorded some other show. But very good, very funny, very we were talking with friends about it today, actually. It's, for the most part, very PG or even G quality, like humor, and there's any gore in it is almost comical gore, like throwing pumpkin innards at people's faces type silliness.
Oh. Okay.
So it's a really good show for, even, I know you don't care that much about it because your kids are mostly grown up, but something that families can watch without too much worry.
All right. Name of the again was
Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think we've gone on for, I know, over an hour. So.
Yeah, a while. Always.
Vikings are playing.
The Vikings are actually doing well this year. I wish them luck.
Yep. First quarter, we're at the 12-minute mark, and it's 0-0, but we're looking pretty good.
All right.
So, marching down the field. So,
cool.
Hopefully they finish out the game good.
Go get to your football game.
Alrighty. Okay, so that's been Flamecast for this month. I am Todd Platts.
I was Wesley Swingley.
If you was.
We'll see what I will be next time.
Alright. Alright, that's a wrap.
Later. My lips feel like they're just gonna crack and my face is gonna